Okay, class, picking up where we left off at. We have fast food sales in billions of dollars in the United States are shown in the table below. We have this table for the years and the fast food sales. It says let S equals F of T represent fast food sales in billions of dollars in the year that is T years since 1990. Find an equation for F of T with your calculator. Give 2 decimal places. Now, first of all, look here, it says it's from the year since 1990. So we have to create another column here. And this column will reflect since 1990. So this right here will be 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So it'll be 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And this will be our L1. Now, how much fast food was sold will be our L2. So now we want to enter this into the calculator. Now the first thing, of course, we have to turn the calculator on. So now with the calculator, we will go to Stat, then Enter. Then if you have values in L1 and L2, you need to press the up arrow, then press clear. Press the down arrow, that got rid of your L2. Now we press the up arrow, then the right arrow and press clear. Press the down arrow and that got rid of your L1. Now we're going to substitute in the values. Okay, now for L1, we have 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Then we will press the right arrow and go over to L2. Now L2, we have 88.8. And remember, after each one you type in, you must press Enter. Then we'll have 92.5. We had 97.5. Then 101.4. And then also 105.5. Now, after you have entered all of those amounts, then you will press Stat again. And then you will press your right arrow key to calculate. Now, if you look here at calculate, we're doing a linear regression. So you see here that we have the number 4. So you will press 4, and then you will press Enter till you get down to calculate. Press Enter, and it will give you these scores. So now, we come back here. It asked us for this problem. They want us to give the actual equation. So, the equation would be, we would use F of T, and that would be equal to, now you see here we got y equals ax plus b. We know y is really the f of t. Our a value, which would be our slope, which would be 4.23. And then we will have x. And then our b is 59.07. So it'll be plus 59.07. Now we have to make one other little change here. Instead of using this x, we should have actually used the t. And this is our formula. So as f of t is 4.23t plus 59.07. Okay, now we go on to problem 15. It says in 1994, Congress passed the Brady Law, which requires background checks on prospective buyers before a gun sale is completed. U.S. firearm deaths for the years 1994 through 1999 are shown in the table. Let N equals F of T represent the number of firearm deaths in thousands at T years since 1990. Find an equation for F of T with your calculator. Give 2 decimal places. So now if we look here, they said that this is since 1990. So we know we're going to have to do another column here for the years to reflect since 1990. So this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So this reflects the new years, and this would be your L1, and of course this would be L2. Now they want us to get an equation from this. So we'll go back to our calculator. You can just clear out what you had before. Press Stat, then Enter. And then we'll clear out L2 and L1 like we did in the previous problem. So now we'll type in our L1, which would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Then type in our L2, be 39, 36, 34, 33, 31, and also 29. Now we'll press Stat again, press the right arrow to calculate, and then we want to do the linear regression, which is number 4. Press Enter until we get our answer. So again, we're going to use f of t, and that would equal to our a, and they want us to round it to decimal places, will be a negative 1.89. It'll be times t, and then it'll be plus. Our b is 45.92. We round it to decimal places. So this is our equation. Does everyone follow that? Okay, now we have b. It says find t when f of t is equal to 25. Now, we have f of t equals 25 by hand. It says, what does it mean in this situation? Now, of course, mine is a little cut off because of the calculator. Okay, now, this is what we would do. Matter of fact, let me expand this a little bit. Okay, so we would take this equation here. F of t represents y. So we'll put 25 in for our f of t. And that will equal to a negative 1.89t plus 45.92. Now, what we have to do here, we want to get t by itself. So we will subtract 45.92 on both sides. Now, as you see here, I don't have enough space. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to create some space. So let me do that really quickly. We need some space in order to do this problem. So now I have space. So now this is what we could do. We could go back to our calculator. And we could type in, just to be sure, we could type in 25 minus 45.92, and that will give us a negative 20.92, and that will give us equal to a negative 1.89t. Now we would divide each side by a negative 1.89, and on this side here we will have t. And they tell us to give it 2 decimal places. So we would divide this. So we would divide negative 20.92 by negative 1.89. And that gives us approximately 11.07. Now we're asked, what does it mean in this situation? Now we know t represents the time. So that means we're going to have to add 11.07 years to 1990, which will give us 2001. So what this means in this situation is this here. So I typed up the answer here, which is in 2001, there were 25,000 deaths by firearms in the U.S. Okay, so now we move on to the next problem here. They want us to take this equation from A and substitute in 10 for t. So we can do that. We have f of 10 is equal to a negative 1.89 times 10 plus 45.92. Now we can type this into our calculator. We can take a negative 1.89 times 10 plus 45.92. And that will give us 27.02. Now we're asked, what does it mean in this situation? Now we know this 10 represents the time, which would be 10 years from 1990, so that would be the year 2000. And this 27.02 represent the number of firearm deaths in thousands in the United States. So our answer is, in the year 2000, there were 27.02 thousand deaths by firearms in the U.S. So now we move on to D here. Now with D, it says find the slope of the model. Now, we have our formula here. Let's go back up. Our formula is here. Our slope is a number in front of t, which is a negative 1.89. Our slope is a negative 1.89. And they ask, what does it mean in this situation? It means in this situation that every year since 1990, there will be 1.89 thousand less deaths by firearms in the U.S. Okay, now we come to E. Find the n-intercept. Now we could look here at the equation where we substituted 10 in, and we know the intercept is this 45.92. So we could write down 45.92. Now you can write this as an ordered pair of 0, 45.92, or 45.92 would suffice. It says, what does it mean in this situation? It means in 1990 there were 45.92 thousand deaths in the U.S. by firearms. Okay, so now we move on to F. Now with F, it says find the t-intercept of the model by hand. What does it mean in this situation? Now the t-intercept, we could look here, and instead of the 10s, we can imagine that t's were here. The t-intercept is when f of t is 0. So we would take this equation and set it equal to 0. So it'd be 0 equals negative 1.89t plus 45.92. So we're solving for t. So we would subtract 45.92 on both sides. And here we would get, so now we would have negative 45.92 is equal to a negative 1.89t. We divide each side by a negative 1.89. And we know this will be an approximation because we're going to round the two decimal places. So we will have negative 45.92 divided by a negative 1.89. That will give us approximately 24.30. Now they ask us, what does it mean in this situation? So it means in 2014 there are no deaths by firearms in the U.S. Now we have G here. For what values of T does model breakdown happen for certain? Explain. Okay, model breakdown occurs from T equals 24.30 and higher because there are still firearms in the U.S., so there is no way that there would be none or a negative value for deaths. I guess I should have put 4 deaths. 4 deaths. Okay, now we go down here to problem 16. It says solve the system below using each of the following methods. Now they want us to do the addition, substitution, and graphing method. Now as far as the graphing method is concerned, I will have you use your calculator for the graphing method. So I will show you this in the next video.